And I would like to tell you a few things about my older brother Dalton. This year I have missed him for movie nights at the cabin, playing baseball in the yard, and while having fun at cattle shows.
My name is Jesse, and I'd like to tell you a few things about my little big brother Dalton. I have missed the control freak when I was shooting trap and hunting, our wrestling matches on the living room floor, and our many useless competitions.
You really have missed him a lot this year, while he was serving as your away from home. We have especially missed him when we were putting up hay,
Scooping silage,
feeding cattle with snow and mud,
halter breaking calves,
cleaning out the barn,
washing heifers,
mowing the lawn,
weed eating the yard,
cleaning the upstairs bathroom.
or we just need someone else to take the blame when something went wrong.
This year we have shared our big brother Dalton so he could serve as the big brother to you.
While we have missed him, we know that he has had a great year serving you, and we are both proud to call him our brother. Here is our big brother, your State FFA Vice President, Dalton Heavner.
I can't stop this feeling. Deep inside of me.
Good morning, Illinois FFA. That song that I just walked out to reminds me of my very first time being around the FFA. See, it takes me back to Monticello High School whenever my mom was student teaching there, and I would just rock out to that song. I was a 4-year-old with the dance moves of a 6-year-old. I was revolutionizing the dance industry with dance moves like the frog, which I would show for you today, but I'd probably rip my dress pants. But you know, that song is one of my very first experiences that are FFA experiences that is tied to a song. Fast forward a few years. Kenny Chesney is singing "She Thinks My Tractor is Sexy." Yeah, that's right. It takes me back to Biggsville, Illinois, whenever my mom was teaching there, to a Saturday during one of the chapter's plant sales when we were singing and dancing along to that song. See, songs have that ability to bring back those different memories, those emotions and feelings. What do you think of when you hear this song? I realize it might be Miley Cyrus, but see, that takes me back to National Convention my sophomore year. And if we rocked out to that song and Love Drunk, I don't want to know how many times all the way to National Convention and back. See, songs have that ability to bring back those different memories, those emotions and feelings. And they can bring back some pretty strong feelings. And how can we use that power to make a difference in somebody's life? This year, having spent so much time on the road, I've had the chance to listen to many songs. Some of those songs, hundreds of times. Some appropriate, some probably not so appropriate, but all those songs have some sort of meaning behind them that the singer is wanting to get across. In the beginning, I was that guy you saw driving down the interstate, you know, dancing, having a grand old time, the ones that you make fun of. But in the past couple months, it hasn't really been that way. See, as songs come on, I think about those different memories and those emotions and feelings that are tied to them. See, those songs can do that. They can bring that. How can we tap into that power of those emotions and memories and feelings that are brought up through those songs and make a difference in your life or the life of somebody around you? The first song I'm going to talk about is Home by Dierks Bentley.
It's been a long, hard ride. Got a ways to go, but this is still the place that we all call home.
You see, that song brings back one of the coolest feelings that I've ever felt in my life. The day was June 14th, 2012. In the back of this convention center stands Dalton Heavner, who the night before was elected to the position of the State FFA office. See, it's right before the last session. We're supposed to be carrying the flags in as section presidents to the America Beautiful with the Farm Bureau video. But because of some technical difficulties, they couldn't get the song to play, so they played Home instead. And from that day on, that song would mean something totally different to me. They announced my walking partner. And from Section 2, Aaron Wetzel. Woo, way to go, Aaron. Yeah. Then they announced me. And from Section 13, Dalton Heavner. And the place just seemed to explode. Instantly, my body was covered with thousands of goosebumps. You see, as I was carrying that flag through the crowd that day, surrounded by all these blue jackets, that's when I began to realize I was going to have the opportunity, the chance, and the blessing to serve you, the members of the Illinois FFA, for one whole year. See, home talks about how this country is our home, but we can get so much more from that. For the past year, FFA has been my home. Really, it's been my home for the past 5 years of my life. Finding your home allows you to be comfortable with who you are, to be accepted for who you really are. So where's your home? I don't care if your home isn't in the FFA, but when you find your home, you can be that person who you want to be. See, in junior high, I wasn't ever myself. I was fake. I was always trying to impress people, trying to feel accepted. But whenever it came to my freshman year, and I found the FFA, and I figured out that that was my home, I found out that I could be myself, and people accepted me for who I really was. Home is where you make it. Home is what you make it. Finding your home will allow you to be happy with who you are every minute of every single day. Just like Happy Gilmore says, go to your home, ball. Go to your home. Find that home, because once you find that home, you can be the best version of yourself. Once you find that home, you need to start living without regret. And when you find that home and you figure out who you really are, you can really start doing that. See, whenever I found the FFA my freshman year, I had goals that I had set that I wanted to reach. I wanted to become a Green Hand officer. I got that one. I just wanted to serve the chapter at a higher level, so I ran for chapter office. And then from there to section, and last but definitely not least, state. See, but as I was going through all of that, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, what happens if you don't get it, Dalton? What happens if you don't reach your goals? Then one day, it hit me. So what if I don't reach my goals? I've found myself, I have lived without regret because I've put myself into it 100% and I've been myself 100% of the time. And if I don't get it, then I know there's something bigger and better coming for me right away. The next song I want to talk about is If I Could Do It Again by Corey Smith.
If I could do it again, you know I'd do it the same.
Yeah, see, that song probably isn't the most convention appropriate song out there, but the meaning of that song, you can get so much from. See, in that song, he talks about his senior year on spring break when he and a few friends went down to Panama City Beach and they were partying and stuff and they got arrested and all this stuff, but with that, he talks about in that song how if he could do it again, he would do it the same. He didn't regret a single thing that he had done through that because of the lessons that he learned and the experiences that he had because he was enjoying himself. As I've been traveling around this year, whenever I wake up in the morning, I say those words to myself to remind me to be myself 100% of the time and to commit myself each and every day, because when you commit yourself, you can really start living without regret. The next song I want to talk about is Cruise by Florida Georgia Line. Is Cruise by Florida Georgia Line.
Baby, you a song, you make me wanna roll my windows down and cruise.
Let's give a round of applause for Joel. You See, that song took the country music world by storm last summer. I remember coming home from vacation a couple weeks before convention and hearing that song on the radio as we were coming home. And I remember thinking to myself, dang man, that's a good song. I like that song. So you know what I did? Pulled up my phone, got on iTunes and bought it, then proceeded to listen to it about 800 times on the way home. But that memory isn't what I want to talk about with this song. The memory that I want to talk about is from the Heritage and Cooperatives Tours trip last summer to Washington, D.C. See, on that trip, you have the chance to go around and see different monuments and museums, but on this trip, one of the chaperones, Mr. Robeson, brought his young son with him, Ty. Ty was about 7 years old at the time, and the thing is, me and Ty became tight on this trip. Ty was my little buddy. After each stop, we'd get on the bus and we'd talk about the different cool things that we saw and the different stuff that we learned. But one of those times sticks out in my mind the most. See, we got on the bus after the Holocaust Museum and we're sitting there and we're talking, we're going through what we saw, the cool things that we'd learned and whatnot. Ty got one of those little rubber bracelets and he wanted me to read it to him. And it had 4 words on it. And those 4 words are, what you do matters. I didn't think anything about it whenever I read it, so we went through the rest of the day, through the normal routine. And that night I was laying in bed, and I was thinking about the day, and trying to figure out what I was going to say for reflections at the end of the week on the trip. And it hit me. Those 4 words hit me. See, that was, in that moment, I began to realize that everything that I do this year, and everything that I've done ever since I was born, it all matters. Because what you do matters. Last year I stood in front of you giving speeches in hopes of getting elected as a state officer and giving speeches about service. This year I've learned a lot about service. I've seen chapter members collect money for canned food drives for food pantries, collect money for the honor flight, pick up trash with Adopt a Highway, conduct oil and electronics recycling. See, those members might not realize it, but every little thing that they do will help their communities, help grow their communities, grow their legacies there. Because what you do matters. As I've been traveling around the state this year, I take those words with me everywhere I go. What I do matters. It doesn't matter whether I'm walking out of the gas station after getting a snack before a long trip and holding the door open for somebody, or if I'm walking through Buffalo Wild Wings and I see a group of servicemen and women and thanking them for their service. Every little thing that I've done this year matters. See, whether I was in Section 23 doing a chapter visit, in Section 16 giving a speech at their section banquet, playing dodgeball at the Section 15 lock-in, time in the District 2 creed speaking contest, or even just giving a workshop at Section 1 LTS. Every little thing that I have done this year matters in some way. In the beginning, I was hooked on a feeling. I knew somebody was going to think my tractor was sexy. And for the past 5 years, ever since I walked through those ag classroom doors, it's been a party in the FFA. See, I've found my home. I've lived without regret because I realize what I do matters. Illinois FFA, find your home. Live without regret because what you do matters.
Some pretty amazing things as an officer. You were very influential in the lives of thousands of people across the state during your year of service. You and your strange love of polo and cinch clothing, squirrels, and flying pigs will be missed. We are proud to say, you crushed it. Love Darren, Courtney, Joel, and Tyson.